What's up, everybody? No more sleeping. What's up, everybody? I know what you're thinking. We were all thinking it. Ben, if you're gonna get a haircut, why not shave your whole face situation going on? The answer is because this is all that I have. I'm holding on to dear life to the little bit of beard that I can hold because it will not connect. So get all the way off my back about it. It's been a while since I've made a video about anything. I've been very busy, become moderately famous on TikTok, which is pretty cool. So I feel a little bit of a responsibility to share some perspective. So last time I made a video was when the beginning of quarantine was happening. And this time I'm making a video with the talk and continuing the talk of Black Lives Matter and the effect of civil unrest on the community. I'm saying hello to everyone. Welcome back. Welcome for the first time for those of you who are watching my videos for the first time. And yeah, for the first time ever, we're gonna have a serious conversation that I think will do us all some good. So recently I was sent a video, Fireside chat, with this man, Dennis Prager. The video is called "The Issue is Values, Not Systemic Racism." And this man takes the idea of systemic racism and goes point by point about why that isn't a thing, why that isn't the issue with the United States. I wanted to give my thoughts about the video point by point as well, so that I can be equally as concise. I haven't fully watched it all the way through, so this is more like a reaction video to that video. It's been a while since I've edited a video, so this will be an exercise for me. Here we go. We're gonna dive right on into it. So the first argument we have is there will always be bad people. The argument itself is made that maybe the murderer of George Floyd wasn't necessarily a racist, maybe he was just a bad cop. There are bad people everywhere, bad doctors, bad lawyers, bad people, and maybe that his murder wasn't necessarily race motivated. The reason why this statement is so incredibly dangerous is because the situation in which the police were called for George Floyd was because of a counterfeit $20 bill or counterfeit money that was being used in this place, right? The reaction was to call the police, and then the police's reaction was to pin this man who was cooperating to the ground and have him pinned while he is telling the police officer that he can't breathe. There are good cops, there are bad cops, sure. The issue here is that we don't see these kind of videos happening to white men. And the stronger issue is the society that we're living in which that blatant murder on camera was filmed. Also, the society that we're living in where the other police officers who were with that cop who ended up murdering George Floyd stood by and watched. No responsibility or accountability held to that other police officer. I haven't seen this kind of video happening to a white man. I've seen multiple videos, however, of this kind of stuff happening to black men. So to say that we don't know that this video was racially motivated or that this murder was racially motivated is a huge diminishing statement to make on the blatant disrespect and disregard for black life that the police force as a whole has. So it was stated, right, that we will continue to protest until these things stop happening. And then his response is that, well, if that's the case, then you will always be protesting because there will always be bad people. Can't say that I disagree, right? I can't say that at any time there's going to be a perfect system because no one is unjust. Here's the issue with this statement, though. It's almost like a call to then do nothing. If you have an issue with the protests, then you should also be fighting to make a change so that the protests don't happen. And no, we may not get complete police reform, we may not get a perfect police system, but That doesn't negate people being upset and angry and wanting to march because of the issues that are happening in the police system that we have now. The issue is with the system as a whole, and right now it is a system that is not built for people of color. The policing is not built for people of color. So we're going to be calling for a change for it. And we're going to be calling for a change for it until we see someone actively trying to change it. It's not really an arguable point. Black people don't feel safe around the police. That's an issue with the police, not black people. It's the lives that we live every day. And I feel a little offended when an older white man who has never had to deal with these kind of issues tells me that I'm worrying about the wrong thing. I have the receipts. I've seen what happens. I've seen the results and the videos of a black man confronted by the police versus a white man confronted by the police. How a black woman is treated when she's put in the back of a car versus how a white woman is treated when someone calls the police on her for acting crazy in a Walmart. How a white murderer is treated versus how a black suspect is treated. I don't know how we can possibly be looking at the same videos. His second point is that there isn't much racism to fight. In this statement, Mr. Prager says the most liable statement is that America is a racist society. It is in fact the least racist society where racists live. That not all cops are racist, not all white people are racist. Part of his statement is true. Not all cops are racist. Not all white people are racist. I'm glad that we got that out of the way because to me, that feels like a very obvious statement. I am, however, going to address the wrongfulness of saying that the country itself is the least racist country, when the fact is that this country was literally built on racism. America was founded by moving from one place to another, but that another place being somewhere where people already lived. Those people were of a different culture and of a different race. America was started on the backs of Native Americans and blacks, to be frank. That is the root of your country. The foundation was built on colonization and slavery. How does that not apply to race? Slavery's ended. What do we have instead? The prison system, in which statistically more blacks are ushered into via crimes that were made up by things that the country has deemed as criminal offenses to get free labor, slavery. But we're not a racist society. Another quote from Mr. Prager, that people get along great in this society. I won't speak too much on politics, but it is a pure fact that with the current legislation and person in office, there has been more public hatred and racism. There is a clear public tension between people of color and white people. That is not getting along great in this society. America is wonderful. America is wonderful. I have to apologize for saying how amazing America is, how wonderful America is. It's in America in 2020 that we're seeing people call black people the N-word in public, on camera, and public spaces, Walmarts, gas stations. We're living in two different Americas. I know that for you, America has been great. For me, I get into a car accident, one cop turns into 5 cop cars for me in a pole. I'm told to keep my hands out of my pockets even though it's the winter. We're living in the same country. We have two completely different experiences. You cannot base the entirety of America off of your experiences as a white male growing up in a time period where nobody was going to call you on your BS. His next point is, why don't black conservatives agree? Why don't black conservatives agree with basically anything that I would be saying, that black people are being oppressed in America in 2020? He starts off by saying that he is currently being filmed by a black person behind the camera, and that all of the blacks in his life don't agree with these statements, and they feel like America is fine. First of all, a blanket statement, I have an issue with any white person calling on a group of black people and calling them blacks. Let's cut that out right now. Like, let's get that, like, let's stop, please. Black people is fine. Black man, black woman, these things are fine. It just sounds racist. I'm sorry, it just sounds racist. So of course we had to hit this point, right? A white person is statistically more likely to be killed by a black than a black person is to be killed by a white person. I need to see the Carfax on these statistics. I didn't even warrant it by looking it up, to be honest with you. The more that I watch this video, the more I'm realizing that maybe I shouldn't really dignify this video with a response. It's extremely arrogant and really, really naive. Most likely that statistic is due to the fact that there are more white people in the United States than there are black people. So statistically, yes, you're absolutely right. According to math, just based off of how many people there are, more white people are bound to be killed by black people, or more white people are bound to be killed by white people than black people are to be killed at all. What is the reaction you're expecting from me, a black? What does that mean? What is it that you're trying to draw from your audience there? Is it that statistically black people are more likely to kill? Because that's a racist statistic. That would imply that there is something up with black people. There's something wrong with a black person, something genetically off about a black person, that they are more willing to kill a white person than a white person is to kill a black person. Is that not how you meant it? Then you should probably clarify that statement, because you didn't. And right now, I'm looking at you as a little racist. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know a lot of black conservatives. That's the truth. So I'm not going to try to justify or tell you why black conservatives think what they think. I've seen videos of black conservatives who support the president, but I've also seen videos of black conservatives who also support the Black Lives Matter movement. Why? Because they're black and it's impossible to ignore the things that are going on. Maybe they live in only black areas where everybody is kind to each other. Maybe they live in all white areas where everybody was super kind to them, or at least seemed like that was the case, right? Everybody's experience are different. Most likely that experience is what makes a black conservative. It seems like a political thing when it really isn't. The fact is, innocent black men, innocent black people are being killed by white cops. A lot. More than should ever happen. Once is too many, 27 times a year is considerably too many. And I just get a little sick and tired of people trying to justify why these acts aren't racist, why these acts are something else. Because at this point, does it matter? Attack the problem. The problem is that it's happening. The problem is that people are dying, and you seem to only care about that we are calling out the fact that it's black people. Because if the issue is that the police are bad, if the issue is that there are unjust killings that are happening at all, I need to see you also rioting and marching in the streets about murders, unjust murders happening at all. Instead, all I hear is your backlash and you're fighting back to why it's not an issue about race. I don't hear you talking at all about this issue that you think that it is. Unless, of course, it's to combat us saying that, hey, we're being killed at a higher rate than any other race in the United States. Mr. Prager said, what do you do with those facts? Right, going back to his statistic, what do you do with those facts? You mourn the fact that it exists, and then you try to improve life. Man, that's all we're trying to do. We're mourning the fact that this issue, that this systemic racism and that the murder of black people by white cops exists. And then we're trying to improve life by changing the system. We're doing exactly what you're asking us to do. So what's the issue? Is it the fact that black people are doing it? Is that it? His next point is, I see no color is the goal. He reads a quote that says, I see no color is not the goal, and then he says, yes, it is. He says it is racist to see color. Don't you get it? The reason why we say I see no color is not the goal is because now you are completely ignoring the fact that there's an issue, right? So if I am driving on the road, the cop pulls me over, I'm now fearing for my life because I don't know if I'm going to make it home. If a white person is driving, they don't have that fear. A lot of my white friends speed. Why? Because they're not afraid of the cops. I am. I'm black. That's the part that makes me afraid of the cops. That's really all it is. That has to do with my color. Yes, race is a social construct. yes, race doesn't really exist. However, culture and ethnicity does. If I walk into a room, the first thing you see is a black man. You may not perceive me as a black man. You may think I'm funny. You may think I'm handsome or ugly or whatever. That is what it is. But the fact about me is that the first thing you know about me before I ever open up my mouth is like, oh, what's the thing that I can see? He is a black man. This is always going to work that way, right? The goal is never going to be to not see anybody's color, to walk around colorblind, because I'm proud to be black. I'm proud of the things that black people have achieved. I'm proud to be part of this community. That's why the goal is not to not see color. The goal is to see someone's color, but not think of yourself superior or them inferior due to that. Seeing color is not racist. Seeing color is human. That's normal. That's the first thing I notice about this man, is that he is an old white man with glasses and white hair. To judge him based on that is racist. We're listening to a man break down racism and he doesn't even understand what racism is. No, I'm not defined by my color. I also like anime. I also love Marvel movies. I read comic books. I play video games. I make music. I love music, dude. I'm an actor. No, I'm not defined by the fact that I'm black, but being black is part of who I am, and I didn't have a choice in that. So I also don't get to choose to just not be black. Come on, dude, that's incredibly naive. If the goal is to not see color, then the goal can also be to completely get rid of every bad cop. You're contradicting yourself. He goes to say there's a total breakdown of a moral standard, that everything that the left touches is destroyed. It is just so wild to me to have completely condemned an entire political side and movement to the fact that nothing that they do can be something that is on the side of the angels or right, which means that everything that your side does has to be the way that things are and are right. That's my issue with politics as a whole, to be honest with you. Two-party system is a little insane to me. This dude really starts to get into a bunch of right-winged rhetoric. I'm gonna probably skip through the next couple points to keep it on the things that have to do with race. I am a Christian. I love Jesus. I would never hold the entire world to the same standard as Christians hold themselves. I cannot expect that of the world. I cannot expect the entire world to hold sacred the 10 Commandments. He says that they should do, and it would be a utopia. The 10 Commandments don't encompass half of the things that are wrong with people as a whole, but that's fine. Just the 10 Commandments and we would be in a utopia, according to this man. So at this point in the video, blame the Democrats for the loss of income. We've officially gone away from systemic racism, and we're starting to talk about now that it's the Democrats' fault that we had a lockdown. A lockdown that was for the safety of all human beings. Democrats' fault. Blame the Democrats for your loss of income because he was opposed to the lockdown. And if you watch this video, there's a moment where he talks about condemning George Floyd for theft, but also mourning his murder. Ignoring all that, he ends that by saying, typical leftism is, if you don't agree with me, you're scum. When the entire video, he has been bashing the left. The entire video, everything is the left's fault. Like Hitler, like everything is the Jews' fault. Blame them for your loss of income. Holy crap. Oh no, I don't think that I can finish the rest of this video, y'all. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I am watching it strictly to be able to give my opinion on the other side of things. We get down to the topic that says, where is the systemic racism? And he says that statistically, blacks commit more violent crimes than whites do, which is why statistically the prison system is filled with more black people than with white people. If you guys have questions about systemic racism, you can message me or on Instagram or hit me up in Discord or Snapchat or whatever, because this is a 25-minute video and I don't want to make mine 25 minutes. Nobody will watch it or listen to it. This video is super frustrating. The further and further that I get down, it's just really, really anger inducing, and that's not the vibes that I'm trying to be on. If you've seen the video, I'm calling it quits at the where is the systemic racism part of it. So I've made it through, it's a 25-minute video. I've made it through 20 minutes of this video. At the end of the day, Please do your own research. If you have questions about the Black experience, about Black Lives Matter, ask a Black person. Don't ask your other white friends, mainly because, and I know that it's not up to Black people to educate you. Go into that knowing that as well. But we do have answers for you. We can give you the links to educate yourself. We can give you the videos to educate yourself. Please get your education from the people who are affected by these things going on, not the people who have their own safe opinions, because they don't understand it. They don't understand it. What I'm getting from this guy in this video is that he doesn't understand it. I feel like this kind of stuff is damaging, and the only reason I'm making a video about it is for the few people who are maybe on the fence about what is really going on. So I want them to hear both perspectives. I hope that the things that I've said in this video make sense and that they're concise and conductive and constructive to this conversation, but I'm always willing to have more of a conversation about this. I'll end by saying Black Lives Matter is simply a statement, just simply trying to get you to understand that our lives matter. It's not Black lives are better. It is not white lives don't matter at all. It is simply trying to get you to understand that how we feel is that our lives do not matter a single bit. And the more that you say that all lives matter, the more that you try to shoot down anything that has to do with the Black Lives Matter movement, we are assuming that you believe that Black lives do not matter at all, because that's all we're trying to say. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. If you did all this way, I appreciate you so much. Stay safe out there. Please continue to wear a mask for everyone's safety. And yeah, I will catch you next time. Bye.